New tonight, U.S. officials now say a 50-year-old woman in California has been killed by a ruptured Takata airbag. This is the 11th person in the United States to die from such an accident. Authorities say the woman was driving a 2001 Honda Civic. The airbags can inflate with too much force, causing the metal interior to rupture, sending shrapnel throughout the car. The issue sparked the largest auto recall in U.S. history. Millions of Takata airbags are still being recalled worldwide.
That new recording is what IMPD dispatchers heard yesterday. A Metro police officer saying that a man had just tried to grab his gun while grabbing him by the neck. The officer then shot and injured that man, and tonight police have identified those involved and detailed what led up to all of it. RTV6's Erica Fly is here with that new information. Erica.
Jason, IMPD says the officer involved, James Perry, was jumped from behind as Perry was trying to arrest a suspect. They just released a photo of that suspect, 39-year-old Stephen Cole. Police say Officer Perry was first to arrive on the scene on North Denny Street yesterday afternoon on a call of a theft and disturbance. A 19-year-old was accusing her father, Stephen Cole, of stealing her cell phone and debit card. As Officer Perry tried to handcuff Cole, they say Cole resisted arrest. And police say that's when his brother, Jared Cole, attacked Officer Perry. At a news conference today, they defended Officer Perry's actions.
We have statements from witnesses that were directly there at the time of Mr. Cole attacking our officer, trying to disarm him and take his weapon. And I think we both can agree that most reasonable people would assume that if that individual took control of the officer's weapon, he was going to use that against our officer.
Gerald Cole was struck twice. He's in serious condition at Eskenazi. Officer Perry is on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation.
That new recording is what IMPD dispatchers heard yesterday. A Metro police officer saying that a man had just tried to grab his gun while grabbing him by the neck. The officer then shot and injured that man, and tonight police have identified those involved and detailed what led up to all of it. RTV6's Erica Fly is here with that new information. Erica.
Jason, IMPD says the officer involved, James Perry, was jumped from behind as Perry was trying to arrest a suspect. They just released a photo of that suspect, 39-year-old Stephen Cole. Police say Officer Perry was first to arrive on the scene on North Denny Street yesterday afternoon on a call of a theft and disturbance. A 19-year-old was accusing her father, Stephen Cole, of stealing her cell phone and debit card. As Officer Perry tried to handcuff Cole, they say Cole resisted arrest. And police say that's when his brother, Jared Cole, attacked Officer Perry. At a news conference today, they defended Officer Perry's actions.
We have statements from witnesses that were directly there at the time of Mr. Cole attacking our officer, trying to disarm him and take his weapon. And I think we both can agree that most reasonable people would assume that if that individual took control of the officer's weapon, he was going to use that against our officer.
Gerald Cole was struck twice. He's in serious condition at Eskenazi. Officer Perry is on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. Jason?
Some breaking news this morning. Police are looking for a man after he ran from the scene of a crash on the LL Tisdale Parkway this morning.
2XG reporter Ashley Holt is live at West Edison Street in North Frisco with the details. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning, Daniel and Tanaya. Police believe they know the identity of that man they're looking for this morning. Around 1 a.m., police responded to a rollover crash here where the LL Tisdale splits into 244 West heading into downtown. Officers found a woman seriously injured and thought the driver was trapped. After calling out a task force, they determined he'd left the scene. Officers used a helicopter to try to find him, but the search was unsuccessful. Police are still investigating what led to the crash.
The cause, as of right now, the speed was obviously too fast for the curve of the roadway back there. That's all we can say at this point. We still got a lot of investigative stuff we're doing on this to see if there's anything else involved.
The injured woman is in the hospital this morning. Police emphasized that it is a felony to leave the scene of an injury crash. Coming up in the next half hour, what police found in that car that may have led to that man fleeing the scene. Reporting live from downtown, Ashley Holt, 2 Works for You.
Joining us now via Skype from San Francisco is Scott Bennett. He's a former U.S. Army officer. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Mr. Bennett. Now, are you at all surprised that militant groups such as Jabhat Hasham, like formerly known as Al-Nusra Front, have refused to lay down their arms?
No, not at all. Of course, that is the tactic that they are expected to employ. Their human shields, their use of the civilian population to serve as a smokescreen, as cover for the terrorist Takfiri elements in Aleppo. That's their standard operating procedure. We've known it for a long time. The Russians have known it for a long time. The President Assad government troops have known it. The United States, Germany, and France are the only ones who seemingly are ignorant of it. And I would say the United States is not ignorant. They are very well aware because they've trained the al-Nusra and ISIS and all of the terrorist elements. They've trained them. They've given them CIA training, U.S. military training. They've trained them in Jordan. They've given them financing. They've given them weaponry. It also came out that Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu had called upon the U.S. to influence the Aleppo terrorists to lay down their arms, despite still receiving TOW missiles from the United States, which is absolutely outrageous. So the United States is working, the Obama administration specifically, has been working against peace from the very start. So they need to simply step up their game, of course, and continue dropping leaflets and flyers and text messages and making broadcasts and loudspeakers. Those are the instruments of psychological warfare, and they simply need to alter their messages to wear down the terrorists, to emphasize the reality that they are going against the Islamic truths, that they are actually jeopardizing their eternal souls by killing civilians, by violating the truth, by violating their agreements. And God will hold them accountable. That's the way to wear them down and split off those terrorists who are getting weak and weary and tired from the extremely fanatical. They need to continue their divide and conquer strategy on a psychological warfare level.
Right, Mr. Bennett, considering that the Syrian government has pledged that it will liberate Aleppo from these militants, what do the militants hope to achieve by sticking in their heels and saying that they're not going to leave, they're not going to lay down their arms?
Well, that's the irony, because they are misguided and deluded by a variety of factors into believing that they are serving a religious purpose by staying and standing their ground and continuing to fight for the death or continuing to fight until, quote, a turning of the tides occurs and somehow they are delivered into a victorious position against the Russian Air Force, against the Syrian government troops. Somehow everything is going to turn in their favor. That's extreme delusion, if not a psychotic episode. And it's amplified by the drugs that they take, Captagon drugs that the Saudis have smuggled in. They're trained to believe that they're on the right side, they're on God's side. And that's why it needs to be, it's a psychological condition, so it needs to be fought on a psychological warfare level. So they need to be pounded with messages in addition to kinetic bombs and targeting for breaking this truce, for breaking this agreement and killing civilians who are simply trying to flee, bombing the corridors. The terrorists are sending mortar shells into the corridors that civilians, sick and the wounded, are trying to leave from. That's an inhuman act. That's a religiously damnation act, and they need to be sent those messages so that the messages overwhelm their capability to focus on their targets. It overwhelms their ability to sniper. It confuses their aim. It shakes their resolve, and it causes people to split away from the more fanatical, so that people begin to see the hopelessness, and they also see that they're jeopardizing their own eternal souls for the original fight. So
okay, let's leave it there for now.
Complex.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time. But Scott Bennett, former U.S. Army officer, joining us via Skype from San Francisco. Mr. Bennett, we appreciate your comments here on Press TV.
Following right now this midday, a standoff right now near 55th and Blue Parkway. Police have had this area surrounded after a man started shooting at a police officer this morning. 41 Action News reporter Belinda Post is there now, where police are trying to get a search warrant. Right, Belinda?
That's absolutely right. They are trying to get a search warrant because they want to get inside this house to try to find the man. And if not, they want to clear it. You can actually see some officers working in the background. This is actually where this all took place. Now let's get you to that video so you can have a closer look. Around 8 this morning, the officer was in an unmarked car driving near 55th and Cambridge. A man came out of the home and shot at the vehicle. Tactical vehicles and K9 units were called out. And right now, officers and troopers are wearing bulletproof vests. They want to talk to the man, take him into custody, and figure out what's going on. Investigators say they will be treading lightly on this case because they know a shooting took place here. Reporting live in Kansas City, Belinda Post, 41 Action News.
Corley, and more breaking news update right now. Police have identified the sniper who shot and killed an armed hostage taker.
That's right. Tulsa police say Officer Jason Lawless shot and killed Salvador Reyes after several hours standoff yesterday. Now, they say Reyes broke into his estranged wife home and took her 2-year-old hostage. They say they did try to negotiate with him, but he would not cooperate. After several hours, Officer Lawless shot and killed Reyes. Reyes is now on paid administrative leave.
Keep your eyes and ears peeled for this guy. This man escaped from police custody around 5 o'clock tonight. Vernon Good is his name. He's been arrested on a domestic violence warrant, and he was transported to Central District, but somehow he got out of his handcuffs, and he ran away on foot. He has neck-length dreadlocks and was last seen wearing a short-sleeved burgundy shirt, dark jeans, and was carrying a black book bag. Call 911 right away if you see him.